It's a beautiful day on your first agricultural TV station, the Agricultural Research Council of Nigerian Television. My name remains Joshua Isha, and of course, any time of the day you tune in and see me on your screen, you already know is that time of the day where you need to stay glued to your TV station as we're about to discuss everything that is in the water. And this is the program called Aqua Farming. Aqua Farming is a program tailored to us telling you what is in the water. So we come here to analyze and digest topics that has to do with fish, shrimps, crabs, frogs, whatsoever is in the water. We come here to tell the commercial way you can actually go into that very form of agriculture so you can be sustainable as a person. And today on the program is going to take a little bit of twist. Why? Because we'll be telling you how to grow a catfish, not just ordinary catfish, the hybrid way. Hybrid have come to stay. We've seen where people have embarked into agriculture to grow fish beyond 1 kg, 2 kg. We're talking about having a 50 kg fish. So stay tuned and take a look.
The mating or crossing of two different species is a process called hybridization, with the offspring known as hybrids. The best recognized animal hybrid is the mule, which is a cross between a female horse and a male donkey. Hybrids can have some characteristics of both parents. Breeding hybrid with selected or favored characteristics of each parent is one of the goals of animal husbandry. When a hybrid has characteristics superior to both parents, it is said to have hybrid vigor or positive heterosis, which of course is the ultimate breeding goal. Hybrid between different species of North American catfish have been researched for more than 30 years. Of all the interspecific catfish hybrid crosses between two distinct species, only one hybrid has characteristics that will favor commercial application. That hybrid is the channel catfish. More specifically, it is hybrid produced by crossing the female channel catfish with the male blue catfish. It is important to note that the reciprocal crossing the male channel catfish with the female blue catfish does not have the same superior production characteristics of the hybrid. Research of hybrid has demonstrated that they exhibit many commercial desirable characteristics compared to most commercially cultured strains of channel catfish. The hybrid exhibits superior characteristics for the following traits: faster growth, better feed conversion, tolerance of low oxygen, increased resistance to many diseases, tolerance to crowded growth condition in ponds, uniformity in size and shape, higher dress-out percentages, increased harvestability by seine, and increasing vulnerability to angling. The simultaneous improvement of so many traits in a single line of catfish has not been possible through traditional genetic improvement programs, and there are other examples of a single mating that has produced improvement in so many commercially important traits. The problem with the commercialization hybrid has been the consistency of seed production. The gametes compatible, but the two species seldom mate with one another because of the behavioral incompatibility preferences in spawning, environment, or some other factors. However, recent advances in artificial spawning and fertilization techniques have resulted in improved seed production. Another important development has been the use of different strains of channel catfish and blue catfish to make the hybrid. The cross of different parental strains has produced genotypically distinct hybrids with even more superior production characteristics. A genotype refers to the actual genes on genetic makeup that produces a trait. The genotype-environment interaction is defined as the way the value of a genotype changes relative to other genotypes when the environment changes. In other words, genetic type for one set of environment conditions may not be the best genetic type for another set of environmental conditions, or the advantage of the particular genotype may increase or decrease in a second environment. In general, the genetic advantage of the hybrid relative to channel catfish or blue catfish can increase or decrease depending on the environment in which they are grown. The hybrid looks much more like the male blue catfish parent than the child catfish. The hybrid has a steep slope from the tip of the snout to the base of the dorsal fin, so it has a humped appearance. It's few or no spot unless the real grain blue is used in the cross. The eyes are set low, the barbels are intermediate, and it has a straight anal fin with an intermediate number of fins. Early experiments demonstrated an approximately 20% improvement in growth of hybrids over commonly cultured strains of channel catfish. However, recent research using selected parental strains of channel catfish and blue catfish has shown that growth of the hybrid can be twice as fast as commercial strains of channel catfish, depending on environmental conditions in general. Hybrids will demonstrate a 15 to 25% improvement in production over improved strains of channel catfish. This increased growth is due to a combination of increased food consumption and improved feed conservation efficiency. In general, the hybrid grows faster than the channel catfish at both the fingerling and food fish phases. When stocking density increase or when there are mixed-sized population in the pond, as is case in the multiple stocking and devastate batch system currently used in most commercial catfish operations. Apparently, the hybrid is less effective by high density pond culture and conditions. That channel catfish is important to know that keywords pond culture, as research has shown that hybrids have many growth advantages under high density cage, tank or raceway culture conditions. Actually, the growth of hybrid is generally slower on the cage, tank or raceway culture conditions, which appears to be caused by a behavioral problem produced by the extremely high densities or confinement of these systems. Hybrids have even more superiority over channel catfish under pond culture conditions at high stocking densities. Fingerlings hybrids outperform channels fingerlings at all densities when grown to food size fish. If fried and stocked at low densities, the hybrid grows at the same rate as channel catfish fingerlings until they reach a length of approximately 6 inches. After that, the hybrid grows faster. Generally, the hybrid displays its superior growth in the second year, and this growth is even more pronounced as densities of 7,000 to 22,000 per acre experiment comprising channel catfish. The hybrid suggests that the hybrid grows faster because they start feeding earlier. In the spring, growth rates in the summer and winter are approximately the same as in channel catfish. Research has shown that feed conversion in hybrid averages 10 to 15% than channel catfish. The parent strain on line channel catfish, blue catfish, affect performance of hybrid. Growth is affected by the genotype of the parent. In some experiments, the hybrid did not grow as fast as selected strains of channel catfish or blue catfish. However, in this case, the channel catfish or blue catfish was not the same strain used to make the hybrid. When hybrids are produced by crossing superior strains of channel and blue catfish, these hybrids outperform the parental strains for growth in open ponds. The strain of the parent also affected characteristics such as stress out, percentage, body composition, signability, ankling vulnerability, and tolerance to low oxygen. Should increase dress out percentage for pressing plant using automatic processing equipment because it allows the equipment to make more precise coats and achieve maximum carcass yield. However, this uniformity can be a problem as that are too uniform will not utilize all the processing lines, simultaneously possibly reducing processing plant efficiency. There has been some concern that automated processing machines will have to be reset to accommodate the hybrid's body shape. However, recent observation has shown that the hybrid can be processed by the same equipment used for channel catfish without any adjustment. Many disease problems in the channel catfish industry can be reduced or alleviated by the culture of CBA hybrids. Survival of hybrids has proven superior to channel catfish in all growth phases. In 20 years of research, fingerlings production survival has averaged 85% and fruit fish production survival has averaged 90%. Although the hybrid is not totally resistant to disease, it is more resistant than channel catfish to columarize. One of the most important traits of hybrid is its sensibility. The hybrid is generally 2 or 3 times easier to catch by seeing that channel catfish. This makes the hybrid better suited for all open pond cultural systems, particularly where seeing of large channel catfish is problematic and ponds are seldom completely drained from harvest. Hybrid in hill ponds are also easier to trap than channel catfish and more sustainable is angling. In fact, hybrid is about twice as easy to catch by hook and line as channel catfish, a trait that has important implication for field fishing and recreation fisheries. Since and grading sock in recent use do not work well with hybrids, the hybrid has a small head and sharp spines inherited from the paternal blue catfish. This trait means that when hybrids are selectively graded by traditional equipment, they tend to gill themselves in the netting obviously. This creates a handling and stress problem. Alternative grading system. Research and commercial trades have shown that hybrids stock in May or early June at 100,000 fry per acre can yield 7,000 to 10,000 pounds of fingerlings per acre by late October. If these fingerlings are stocked in a single crop system at 3,000 fish per acre in the spring, the 5,500 pounds of marketable fish should be ready for harvest in the fall. If stocked at 5,000 fingerlings per acre, the 9,000 pounds of marketable fish should be ready for harvest in the fall. This production level requires near satiation feeding and adequate aeration to sustain the fish. Open pond spawning is not a consistent way to produce hybrid. Usually, no spawn occurs, but there have been rare instances where up to 3% of the female channel have spawned. In many cases where spawns have been reported in open ponds, it appears that the adults were not sexed properly. Only female channels and female blues were stocked, and either channels spawn with channels of blue spawn with blues. No hybrids were actually produced. Therefore, the open pond spawning of channel catfish with blue catfish to produce hybrids cannot be recommended. Pen spawning is more consistent way of producing hybrids. Pens should be similar to those used in traditional channel catfish. Spawning pens are constructed next to the bank of the pond, using treated lumber driven into the pond bottom and plastic mesh or plastic coated wire mesh for size. The mesh should allow for adequate water circulation. Most spawning pens have dimensions of 4 to 6 or 4 to 8 feet. Spawning containers must be large enough to accommodate the size of the male blue catfish. Male blue catfish and the female channel catfish are individually paired in pens when the water temperature at the depth of the spawning container is between 75% and 82% or sunrise. Male blue catfish should be placed in the pens a day or two before the female channel catfish. Female channel catfish chosen should show the classic signs of readiness for spawning, including a soft, distended belly and preferably the genital opening that is red and swollen. Female channel catfish is injected with human chorionic gonorrhea too. If mating occurs, spawns will usually be found 72 hours after the female is introduced into the pen. In rare cases, pawning has occurred up to a week after the female is introduced into the pen. Pen spawning success has as high as 100%, but usually result in 0 to 20% success. Average spawning success over 14 years of continuous research at Auburn University is approximately 15%. Therefore, pen spawning is not considered a dependable method of producing hybrid fry. Artificial spawning and fertilization can virtually guarantee production of hybrid fry every year if properly conducted. The success of artificial spawning of female channel catfish should be 67 to 100%. The economics of this approach are still being examined. The following protocol has been the most successful in producing hybrids. Female channel catfish bush stock should be stocked at no more than 1,500 pounds acre and fed commercially manufactured 32% protein, diet at 3% of body weight. 3 days a week during summer and fall, starting in January and continuing through spawning. The female broodstock should be fed at 48% protein brood fish feed that contains 60% fish meal twice a week and a liver once a week. Females are spawned more successfully when the water temperature is between 75 and 82 degrees at depth of 2 to 3 feet at sunrise. Females selected for injection should have soft, descended bellies and preferably red swollen genitals opening selected. Females are placed in holding vats. Water flow and aeration in the vats should maintain a total ammonia near soft oxygen above 6 mg. If possible, water temperature should be slowly increased to 80 to 82% in the vats after the first injections should be made in the evening of the same day. Female brood fish are seen from the broodstock ponds. The longer fish are held in vats, the lower the number that will spawn. The poorer the egg quality and lower the number of fry that will hatch. It is essential to get an accurate weight of each female in kilograms so that precise doses of hormone can be calculated. Pituitary extract has been the most consistent successful hormone for spawning channel catfish. The first injection of the female body weight should be administered under the base of one of the pelvic fins between 6 and 8% injection. The female should be placed in a separate vat for injected females. This process is repeated 12 hours after the first injection with a second dose of 8 mg of body weight. The temperature in the broodfish pond has reached 82% at sunrise. Prior to seeing the fish, then the resolving dose should be reduced to 8. The male blue must be surgically opened with an incision from the anal opening to about 3/4 of the way to head along the belly. The testes are removed by gently coating them from the mesenteric connective tissue. Try to minimize bleeding as these will obscure the view of the test and make removal difficult. Remove only the white portion of the testes gently. Dry the testes until all blood and moisture have been removed. This prevents activation of the sperm as the tests are marketed for.
The Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria (ARCN) coordinates the activities of research institutes and is responsible for supervision, regulation, coordination of research activities and programs of higher institutions in Nigeria. And Professor Hamidou Shaributu, since assumption as Executive Secretary of ARCN in April 2020, has solidified the transformation of agriculture in Nigeria through strategic and meaningful execution of research fundings for improvement of the agricultural sector.
For grains, we have the parabolic solar dryers. These are specialized solar dryers used for drying agricultural produce such as whole grains, yam and cassava chips, fruits and vegetables more efficiently. It is made of a special material that concentrates the rays of the sun within the enclosure while eliminating harmful ultraviolet radiation. Products dried are free from contaminants and are hygienic.
The parabolic shaped solar dryer is a need-based technology because virtually when we travel all over the country, you will see by the roadside, you see people drying all sorts of agricultural produce. Some spread their own on bare ground, and by the time the vehicles are moving, the dust stay on the products. The reptiles will come, they will eat whatever they can eat, drop their feces and their urine on it, and the owner comes in the evening to pack everything together and still eat that product, and the product has been contaminated, and we feel this is not right, and it is part of our mandate to make sure that we set it right, and that was what led to this, so that we can solve this problem at the grassroots level. Instead of drying by the roadside, drying on just bare ground in their villages, when they have this as a drying center, everybody in the community can bring their product there, spread on the tray, and they get it dry under hygienic condition that is covered. And the dryer also have another property to screen the ultraviolet ray of the sun, which is also can cause hazard to human health.
The National Horticultural Research Institute, NIHORT, is one of the 15 agricultural research institutes in Nigeria under the supervision of the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria. The institute started in 1975 as the Fruits and Vegetables Research and Demonstration Center with the assistance of the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP. It metamorphosed to National Horticultural Research Institute in 1976. NIHORT headquarters is located on a sprawling 350 hectares of land at Jericho area, Ibadan. To have a national spread and outlook, the institute has 3 outstations and 2 experimental stations. The outstations are Mbato, which sits on a massive 810 hectares of vast land located in the humid zone of southeastern Nigeria, Bagauda in Kano, made up of 110 hectares of land in the semi-arid zone of northwestern Nigeria, and finally a 156 hectare of farmland in Otukpo, Benue State.
National Horticultural Research Institute, NIHORT, has developed, registered and released 3 new varieties of tomato, which are tolerant to Fusarium wilt, root knot nematodes. They are high yielding, early maturing with good nutritional values. These newly released tomato varieties are Otitum 1, Otitum 2 and Otitum 3, and they are adapted to different agroecological zones of the country. To minimize post-harvest losses, the Institute has developed value-added products from tomato, such as tomato paste, dried tomato slices, tomato wine, as well as tomato juice. The Institute has also developed Tuta Trap Tray to control tomato leaf miner, also known as tomato Ebola. Additionally, biopesticides have been developed in the Institute, known as NIHORT Liptol, NIHORT Ractine, and also the NIHORT Sticky Traps, which are effective in the management of tomato.
The Institute for Agricultural Research (IAR) is located in Samaru, Zaria in Kaduna State. It was established in 1922 as the research division of the Regional Ministry of Agriculture in the defunct Northern Nigeria region. The purpose at that time was to research into problems of agriculture and to provide solution, and to enhance productivity in agriculture in Northern Nigeria, including agricultural mechanization to reduce difficulties of operations such as planting, application of fertilizers and herbicides, drying. It also includes the development of improved crop varieties which are being planted by farmers in northern Nigeria. The Cereals Research Program of the Institute, which is charged with the mandate to research into the genetic improvement of cereal crops like maize, sorghum, among others, has developed over 60 varieties of maize and over 46 varieties of sorghum, among others, which are high-yielding, pest-resistant and drought-tolerant. One of major breakthroughs of the Institute is the development of maize varieties that are resistant to the fall army worm. RAR varieties of cereal crops are also resistant to striga weed, a parasitic weed which attaches itself to cereal crops and absorbs the nutrient, causing poor yield. IAR has to its credit 29 varieties of groundnut, 21 varieties of cowpea, including the very newest variety that has high resistance to insects. This can save Nigerian farmers at least 16 billion naira annually in the purchase of insecticides.
Since then, Professor Shaributu has operated as visionary captain by restoring the council's glory with the first ever agricultural television and radio station in Nigeria, with well-equipped studios parading state-of-the-art equipment.
The Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria also has a brand new electronic library to further promote research and visualizations of deep thoughts on agricultural development in Nigeria.
The museum, located in the Senator Abdullahi Adamu Center, is an agricultural museum saddled with the responsibility of keeping records of agricultural findings, discoveries, researches for continuity and history purposes.
The Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria is wearing a new look under the stewardship of Professor Garba Hamidu Sharubutu, who says, "Alone, I am nothing, but together, I am something." ARCN,
promoting agriculture. It's good to know that you are still glued to your first agricultural TV station right here in this nation's capital, Abuja. The program has been Aqua Farming, where we've been talking about growing catfish the hybrid way. I'm sure you must have learned how to embark on this very form of agriculture. Trust me, you're going to be smiling to the bank, because fish is needed as it serves as 50% form of nutrition to everyone living on the earth. It's quite safe for anyone. So the market is already there. It's left for you to tap into any of those form of agriculture that has to do with aqua farming now, to be able to be self-reliant. On that note, we'll come to the end of the program, Aqua Farming. Many thanks on behalf of the crew members who made it possible. My name is Joshua Osha. Thanking you for being a part of it. Bye for now.